Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
Well, so there's a new Star Wars thing. And that thing is not The Mandalorian. Because we're not talking about good things today. Not when it comes to Star Wars. Well, sort of. But we'll get to that. Hatman here. He bit the bullet for all of you. So we will praise the Hatman today. Because he will be reviewing Rise of Skywalker as he futilely attempts to commit suicide with his lightsaber.
Damn it.
No words? Then let's get started. My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, and even I know better than toss this over my fucking shoulder.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman Live. Before we get started, there are good things to say in regards to Star Wars. First off, we should all praise the Baby Yoda, because
Yes.
the Baby Yoda is wonderful.
We love Baby Yoda here.
Yes, we do. Second thing is that now it has been stated that Darth Revan is canon. And I am assuming the rest of the Old Republic will fall in line soon after. But more than likely they want to do something with it in regards to live media. Here's hoping for a movie on the Mandalorian Wars directed by Jon Favreau and nobody else. But needless to say, though, we are doing something on the Patrons Discord server. And that is that if you are interested in learning how to play Star Wars The Old Republic and playing with me and some other people, myself, Brainbox, I think Talon Silverbane as well, we are willing to teach you guys how to play and join us. So, just wanted to throw that out there. If you want to join the Patrons Discord, there are ways to become a patron down in the description below. And, yeah, it's only $1, to get onto the server. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and move into our picks of the week, though. So I'm going to get mine out of the way really quick.
Because mine's going to take forever to talk about.
Yes. My pick of the week was The Strongest Man in History. So, for those who don't know, and this is something I don't really talk about very often, I actually very much enjoy strongman competitions. I was a power lifter in high school. I actually had a 650-pound deadlift. Both hex bar and front bar. And I'll read that here in a second. Actually, no, I'll just read that now. He says, his take is that Force Awakens is a smoldering trash can. The Last Jedi was the garbage truck fall on fire. Skywalker was the entire landfill being napalm strike covered in thermite in a volcano's heart as it explodes white on fire. Top that opinion. Well, we'll see what Hatman can do. But needless to say, though, I like lifting heavy things. I mean, I'm 6'2" and I weigh 300 some odd pounds. I'm a really big guy, and as Hatman has seen, I can throw weight around quite easily. So, just to put it this way, there really was, like, when we were at ICMI, there were like maybe 3 or 4 people taller than me. And there was nobody probably as strong as I am. So, yeah, it was an interesting thing. But what the Strongest Man in History does is it takes 4 of the strongest men in the world. Nick Best, Robert Oberst, Eddie Hall, and Brian Shaw. Now, Brian is a 4-time. He's from left to right. Brian Shaw is the one on the far left. He is a 4-time World's Strongest Man. Nick Best, to his right, is a former finalist of the World's Strongest Man and holds the world records in the hip lift and the shield carry, both of which are very difficult lifts to do. One requires a lot of endurance. The other one just requires incredible leg strength. Then you have Eddie the Beast Hall, who is a little further to the right, the only Englishman on the show. He is a 1-time World's Strongest Man, and he holds the world record for the deadlift at half of a ton. And then finally at the end you have Robert Oberst, who also was a World's Strongest Man finalist a few years ago. So, and some of you might remember seeing him on the Joe Rogan Experience. He's a really cool guy. So, what this show basically is it is 4 of the strongest men in the world going around to different parts of the country and the world at large and taking on massive feats of strength from history. Whether it's, shield carry and going through Viking events like the hammer toss, and also lifting a ship mast, one that weighs 1,400 pounds. What else is there? Let's see here. And other different feats of strength too. You see these guys throwing around weight that is just absurd. But it's so cool to watch because you're seeing a different breed of athlete, if you think about it. The normal athlete that we are used to is not someone who is built like me. Just for height comparison, I'm as tall as Nick Best and Eddie Hall are. I'm just as tall as they are. And actually, I'm an inch shorter than Eddie Hall is. Eddie Hall is the one in the middle on the middle right. I'm gonna crack my neck here. There we go. But anyway, I'm only an inch shorter than him, you know. But the kind of athlete we're used to, usually stringy dudes, you know, unless you're thinking of like a heavyweight boxer or a heavyweight MMA fighter or a football player. But these are guys that not only have to be incredibly strong, but they have to have a level of endurance and finesse that that power lifters don't have. Because strongman competition is not pure powerlifting. It has powerlifting events, but it also has more awkward lifts. The shield carry is a really good example of that. And there's other events as well. One of them at the Arnold Classic is literally the Wheel of Pain from Conan the Barbarian. Yeah. So, needless to say, what they do in the show is ridiculous. But what I love about this show is it's a man's show. It's about pushing yourself. It's about striving to be the best you that you can be. And what's crazy about this is these guys are competing against each other for every fucking episode, and they are always supportive of one another and trying to push each other to the next level. And that, I think, is pretty freaking awesome. You do see world records get touched and broken in this. Some of which are just amazing. My favorite being, you see Nick Best there do a carousel lift of 1 ton. 1 ton of weight in a hip lift. Like, that's crazy. And by the way, during the hip lift, the only other person who is able to get the weight up is Eddie Hall, and he injures himself doing it. Nick does it technically twice. Same weight, 1 ton. That's ridiculous. But it's incredible. And you see these guys go neck and neck with one another. You actually see Nick's shield carry skills. And it's incredible to watch. For any of you who are Scottish, they take on events from the clan gathering. So the putting of the stones. What's another event that I'm forgetting? Keg toss, which is also a strongman event. And the caber toss as well. So, great show. Just definitely check it out. And you can find a ton of clips from it for free on YouTube. So, all right. Hatman, are you ready?
About as ready as I can be.
Okay. So before we get started, let me just make sure spoiler button is working. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Your review of The Rise of Skywalker. By the way, do non-spoiler review first, and then we'll go into spoiler territory. Go.
There's not a whole lot I can say without spoilers. So you basically get a very quick review without spoilers.
Objective as possible.
Okay. Better than The Last Jedi. But considering what a trash fire The Last Jedi was, that's not really saying much. I will say this, though. I knew how I felt about it leaving the theater. I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was kind of bullshit, especially this being the end of the Skywalker saga. I thought was kind of bullshit. But it felt like it had to make up ground that was lost in The Last Jedi. There were several pot shots taken directly at The Last Jedi, and specifically at the most controversial parts of it. And as a result, this kind of felt like 2, maybe even 3 movies in one. So it was rushed. It was very rushed. The first half, really, if not more, is basically one big fetch quest. And then the end of it is like the final battle. Almost not quite like the Battle of Endor, because it doesn't take as long, but yeah, on the scale of the Battle of Endor, basically. God, what else can I say? Adam Driver is great, and Kylo Ren is easily the best character of this entire sequel trilogy. Anyone who has any doubt that Rey is a Mary Sue at this point, no, you can't doubt it anymore. She's definitely in Mary Sue category. She's there. And God, what else can I say about it without spoilers? Better than The Last Jedi, but still an unsatisfying conclusion.
Nothing else?
That's all I can say without spoilers.
All right. So, final determination. Should people see this or no?
Yeah, go see it if you want to get the piss taste of The Last Jedi out of your fucking mouth.
Well, that's not really saying much. Like,
'Cause
is this something that somebody should pay full
really.
price for? Is this something they should wait to rent or matinee or what?
Okay, if you're a Star Wars, if you are a diehard Star Wars fan that needs to know, yes, go see it. If you just hate the sequel trilogy and you think The Last Jedi kind of fucked the dog, honestly, don't bother or see it on a matinee. I'll say it like this. Y'all know that I only watched The Last Jedi twice, 3 times now, because I've had to watch them all for a marathon. And I only saw it once in theaters. And I love me some Star Wars. I've seen every other Star Wars movie that I got to see theatrically multiple times. The Last Jedi I only saw once. I will see The Rise of Skywalker again. I am open to watching that movie again. That's how you know how different it is compared to The Last Jedi.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's go ahead and descend into a certain category. And folks, again, we always put this warning up whenever there be spoilers. Hatman, how accurate were the leaks?
The leaks were true. Pretty much all of them. The only one that wasn't accurate was the Kylo Ren falls down a pit never to be seen again. No, he climbs out of the pit, and you see him again. But then he dies immediately afterwards. Force healing is canonized. Rey in her last duel with Kylo Ren stabs him with his lightsaber, and then she like gets shocked because, oh fuck, what have I done? Also, oh fuck, Leia just died, and then she force heals him. She force heals like some kind of sandworm earlier in the movie too, to establish, oh, force healing is a thing, and also the Mandalorian established that force healing is a thing too. But yeah, force healing is a fucking thing, and so Rey dies at the end, like straight up, she is fucking dead, and then Kylo Ren basically force heals her, but to bring someone back from the dead, you have to give up your own life, evidently. So he fucking dies, and he fades away too. So I guess he gets to be a Force ghost now, even though you don't see him as a Force ghost later. Also, you don't see Anakin as a Force ghost in this. That's bullshit. You want to know what else is fucking bullshit? There's a part at the end where Rey has to like get up and face Palpatine, and she's hearing the voices of all the departed Jedi. And by all the departed Jedi, I don't just mean like the ones who are Force ghosts. I mean like a bunch of fucking like fucking Mace Windu. You can hear Mace Windu's voice. When the hell did Mace Windu become a fucking Force ghost? And on top of that, you got fucking Aayla Secura, Luminar Unduli. What the fuck? Like, why in the hell are they in there? And then you hear Ahsoka Tano's voice too. Okay, yes, she's fucking dead. Oops.
Yeah, she's just dead. They don't say
she's
why.
Fucking dead.
Because they retcon that in Rebels. That she was still alive. So at some point, so let's think about this for a second, folks. Because of J.J. Abrams killed Ahsoka Tano off screen.
Yeah, between the end of Rebels, which takes place at the end of Return of the Jedi, and now Ahsoka Tano has died.
Yeah.
So she's fucking dead. She died off screen.
By the way, real quick, Daniel Parker donated $5, said they seem to hint that Finn is Force sensitive because he knew Rey died. Too little, too late.
Yes, they did. And then just today, J.J. Abrams confirmed it. Yes, Finn is Force sensitive. Which is a fucking bullshit way to do it. Finn should have been the protagonist, for God's sake. Mm-hmm. Hey, I like my story idea that Finn should have been the main fucking character, and he would be the one bearing witness to the fucking Skywalker legacy, and like the two strongest fucking Force sensitives up to that fucking point. That should have been his story.
Yeah.
And instead, he once again becomes basically a fucking side character, like a comic relief character. Fucking, I hate that. They did my boy dirty. Fuck. I mean, they gave Poe more to do than Finn. What the hell, man? What the fucking hell? God.
It's like we said in the overflow. Finn should have been the main character.
Finn should have definitely been the main character in this.
He's so much more interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, and this is the question that I have. What is Rey's character? Who is she?
What do you mean?
Who is
she? She's a Palpatine.
Well, and that's the thing. We didn't know anything about her until now. And even then, the first thing you can say is she's a Palpatine. Not she's brave. Yeah. Not that she's headstrong or mentally weak or something like that. It's she's a Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have any actual traits until right now. And even then, it's more based on blood than actual characterization. She is a terrible character.
Yeah.
She is the worst character in Star Wars since Jar Jar Binks.
She's so bland as a fucking protagonist. Like, I hate it because she really doesn't get to grow. Like, she only sort of grows in this, and that's because she does some dark side shit. Like, she shoots force lightning out of her hands and, stabs Kylo Ren and stuff. She could have had, like, a whole fucking around with the dark side journey in The Last Jedi, and then up to Rise of Skywalker, fucking... She could have totally been like, nope, I'm rejecting the dark side. Fuck that shit.
But that would
almost like an expanded version of Luke's shit in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. That would require her to have struggle.
Yeah,
and
but they can't fucking have it.
This is my problem with Rey in general. is this character is not a character. This character is Kathleen Kennedy's politics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bullshit. You cannot criticize women. Women is all powerful. Women is special. Fuck that shit. You do not get to be special for the sake of being special. She doesn't fucking... And Jeremy Johnson, in his fucking spoiler review, made an excellent fucking point. She's the only, like, protagonist that doesn't really get injured.
Yeah.
Like, Luke loses a fucking hand, Anakin loses an arm, and pretty much everything fucking else. But fucking...
Nothing happens to her until the very end.
Yeah, she gets beat up a bit at the end of this one, and that's it.
Yeah,
like
there's no arc.
No,
she's
it's
always
not.
perfect.
Yeah, it's so.
There's literally nothing she can't do, and that's something I had to point out to people.
Pretty much.
It's like she doesn't. She's a natural with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Luke barely trains her. She's a natural with the Force. She beats a Sith Lord in one-on-one combat. Granted, he was injured, but still beat him convincingly. And, like, there's no struggle there. There's no, you know, the whole I don't know who my parents are thing is, like, sort of touched on, but that's not really anything that really drives her. You know, and what she's doing. It basically gets shoehorned into the conflict at the very end. You know, it's ridiculous. And
fucking Starkiller had more depth in character than Rey, and Starkiller was OP as shit.
Yeah, well, at least Starkiller goes through the normal Sith motions of what a Sith apprenticeship is. And Sith apprenticeship is two things, or follows two paths. Though to be honest with you, it is approached much better in the old in Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's another reason why you guys should play it with me. In the Sith Warrior story, it goes one of two ways. The first way that it goes is you are an apprentice, you kill your master, or he kills you. That's it. And Vader tries to kill Starkiller, which this doesn't matter now, even though we're spoiling it. Like it's not canon anyway, but that's how it goes. But there's a natural arc there that you could turn it into revenge, or you can see them turn around. You know, but that's a struggle that you have to go through. You know, Starkiller got his ass beat a lot by Vader, you know, and didn't overcome him until he turned to the light. Mm-hmm. So, like, I can't even think of a female character in Star Wars who was this protected. She is the John Cena of Star Wars characters.
No.
She is the
Roman
John
Reigns.
Cena. No, well, Roman has not held a world title in a while. He actually has had some really good matches early in his career, and still
but
does.
Dear God, the lengths they went to protect
her,
Roman Reigns and to push him.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't stick. With John Cena, it stuck for a decade. You know, to the point where him losing was a shock. You know, she is the John Cena of Star Wars characters. You know, she constantly protected. Like, I can't think of another, like, Mara Jade was never protected like this in the books and in Dark Forces.
No.
Bastila sure as shit
fucking had the balls to kill her off, too.
Yeah. Like, Bastila sure as shit wasn't. Now, and by the way, Bastila starts out as a Rey-like character. And in fact, Rey reminded me a lot of Bastila in the sense, like, she is this sort of know-it-all, amazing at everything character. The difference is that bites Bastila in the ass as it goes on. Rey, she never pays for it. You know, ever.
No.
So no, not with Bastila. Juhani, no, because Juhani starts off having fell to the dark side, and you have to redeem her or you kill her. You know, who else is there in Star Wars that I'm thinking of? Female characters. Like the female characters in SWTOR 2, even the Exile. Mitra Surak, she goes through a ton of shit. and fucking dies. The Emperor kills her. It's like, I've never seen a Star Wars character that is this invincible.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand what you're telling me is she gets beat up at the very end, but it's against Palpatine.
Yeah, fucking, and that's the
and
thing.
He absorbs the powers of a ton of Sith Lords.
Holy shit!
It's like super powerful.
Black Knight. Black Knight and
Ahsoka,
David Parker say Ahsoka.
Ahsoka has an arc
holy
too.
Fuck!
She leaves the Jedi Order.
She was hated when she fucking came when they did the Clone Wars movie.
Oh yeah, everybody hated it.
The animated Clone Wars movie, which was a travesty. Everybody fucking hated Ahsoka Tano. When they started the series, everybody hated Ahsoka Tano. Oh my fucking god, she's bullshit. And then she became one of the most likable Star Wars characters ever.
Yeah. She won people over. And she struggled a lot. And she fell to the dark side at one point.
Yeah. And she fucking quit the Jedi Order even because she was like, I hate the fact that you are going to try to push people out and frame them for shit. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, her final duel with Darth Vader was incredibly emotional.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that's what Star Wars is supposed to be. Star Wars is not hard. We've made this point over and over again. Star Wars is not a hard story to tell.
No, it's not.
It is the hero's journey. But the hero's journey, for those who don't really understand it, is a foundation. It is literally like a foundation for a building. If you deviate from it too much, it's the same way if you don't. It's like building your house on the sand. The old biblical parallel. Your home will be washed away eventually. But the man who builds his house on the rock, But the whole thing is that rock is the foundation. That's what it's based on. This film series doesn't seem like it had a foundation really. Or if it did, it had a very weak one at the start, and then Rian Johnson just decided to plow it over and try to build something new.
Yeah, and let me just say that The Rise of Skywalker could have been a really good movie, but it suffered because of where The Last Jedi put it. The Last Jedi fucked things up so badly, and I hate it more because of this. Knowing that this is the outcome that we got, and The Last Jedi is directly responsible for it, I loathe it even more.
Yeah.
But it put us in an impossible fucking spot, because the end of The Last Jedi felt like the end of a trilogy, or the end of a 2-act structure, not a 3-act. Where the fuck do you go from that? You really can't go anywhere.
It's sort of like trying to real quick before I go into another metaphor. We got 72 people watching. Thank you guys for being here, but only 23 likes on this video. Hit that like button if you're enjoying our discussion here today. We greatly appreciate it. I'm going to be singing for you guys later. Come on, hit that like button. So we're going to talk about this for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to move on to Q&A. So the one thing that I think about with this film is the story in the Modern Warfare games. Modern Warfare 1 has a pretty good, if not overly simple story. Sort of like The Force Awakens does. Pretty good, but overly simple. But there's some creative decisions that could have been different that a lot of people would have preferred to be different. The second Modern Warfare shits the bed in its storytelling in the campaign a lot. No Russian's a great sequence. Like, I don't think anybody would debate that, but there's a ton of plot holes. And the third game was left in a position where they're in a corner, and can they write themselves out of it, and they couldn't. The fact of the matter is that if you have a trilogy and you put yourself into a corner and because of a screw up, it's really, really hard to write your way out of it. It really is. Yeah.
They could have, honestly, they could have gone to episode 10, and that probably would have done them a favor. That probably would have been better. Just make it a 10-part fucking story. What the hell? If JJ was the director of all 3 movies, would it have been better? Spudley asked. Maybe. I think if Rian Johnson had not deviated from the plan. And remember, JJ said that he wrote the story. He and Lawrence Kasdan wrote the story of what the sequel trilogy would be. And Rian Johnson wanted to derail from that.
Because he's an
Had
idiot.
that not fucking happened, we would not be here.
Yeah.
We would not fucking be here. And because of that shit, and people are pointing this out in the chat too, yeah, a lot of the movie is an apology for The Last Jedi. I mean, the part where Rey fucking throws Luke's lightsaber into a fire, Force Ghost Luke catches it and goes, now that's no way to treat a Jedi's weapon. Clear pot shot at The Last Jedi. And then, oh, well, you came here and abandoned the Force? Yeah, well, I was fucking stupid. Another pot shot at The Last Jedi. Well, why don't we do a holdo maneuver? Nope, that was 1,000,000 to 1 fucking thing. Shot down, another pot shot at The Last Jedi. I created Snoke, says Palpatine. Okay, well, fuck that shit. Like, just, the whole fucking thing is shitting all over what came before it and trying to apologize and say, yeah, we know that fucked things up. Let's try to fix it. Let's fix it and fucking move on. And it doesn't fucking work as a result. Like, it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious, but it doesn't fucking work because there's no cohesion there. Because you've got an appetizer that is really fucking awesome. And then you've got like a main fucking course that is just cooked so fucking poorly. You're like, God damn it, what in the fuck is this? Why would I eat this? This is terrible. And then the dessert, you're trying to get the taste of that main course out of your mouth with the fucking dessert, but it's still not satisfying enough. And it could be like a really fucking nice creme brulee or some shit, but you cannot get that shit fucking taste out of your fucking mouth from it. That's what this felt like.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. Like, yeah, it's nice and all. I'm glad to have it as opposed to The Last fucking Jedi, but Jesus Christ. Like, concluding the trilogy, let alone the saga, it's not satisfying at all. There's basically no fucking final battle. Palpatine gets back up to full strength for all of like 2 or 3 fucking minutes. And then he gets fucking wiped out by a Mace Windu maneuver. It's... What? Why? How? Where are the stakes? Like, what's the point in bringing him back if he's just gonna get fucking murked in no time? If there's no real final battle with him, what's the point? What is the fucking point? Like, God damn it! And I'm not even mad about the whole Rey Skywalker thing. Like, that honestly does not piss me off because, as it was explained to me by somebody, like, imagine your parents were fucking terrible, abusive people. And the moment that you have any sort of agency over yourself, you change your last name because you do not want to be associated with them and their legacy. That I'm okay with. In that sort of context, I'm fucking okay with it. But bullshit like, oh, we're going to go back to Tatooine and bury the lightsabers there, even though that was the place that literally all of the Skywalkers fucking hated.
Yeah. The
Dark Empire did the story much better. I don't know. I didn't like Dark Empire either. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, Dark Empire had a lot of problems. Let's kind of close this section on this. Because even though the series isn't finished yet, we need to talk about The Mandalorian because this is the way.
This is the way.
This is something I was reading while we were discussing this. Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams have been documented as not listening to George Lucas when it came to this. Same with Kathleen Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And look at where they're at. Because like we've said before, George Lucas is a great ideas guy. He is. He's not the best director.
No.
His dialogue could really use some work.
Very, yes.
He needs to get the most out of a George Lucas story. You need a really strong director, which is why the best Star Wars film, in my opinion, the 2 best Star Wars films are Empire and Jedi. They're directed by somebody else.
Yeah. Keep in mind, Star Wars was only saved in the edit. It was an incoherent mess until George's 3 editors fixed it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why we have Star Wars today was because of those editors. So
Yes.
you thank them.
Exactly. But as an ideas guy, he's phenomenal. He really is. When it came to advice that he gave to Rian Johnson and to J.J. Abrams, they did not listen to him, and everybody hates him. You know, there are people who are Stargate fans that are flipping the fuck out and praying to God, even if they don't believe in God, that J.J. Abrams doesn't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors that he's going to do the next Superman movie. So I really look forward to Superman's iPod outfit. But in all seriousness, like, I'm thinking, like, no! I don't... No! Please, no! Stay away! Just no. But what I read here, this is from GQ. Jon Favreau, who is the head of The Mandalorian, said the following when it came to advice that George Lucas did. I'm going to read an excerpt. We had a long talk with each other, said Favreau. One thing he said to me was, remember, John, the real audience for all stories and all myths is the kids that are coming of age. Because he's really Joseph Campbell adherent. We enjoy the stories as adults, but really storytelling is about imparting the wisdom of the previous generations onto the children who are becoming adults and giving them a context for how to behave and how to learn the lessons of the past without making the mistakes on their own. That's the hope. You can teach them how to avoid all the hardship but garner all of the wisdom. Favreau says that he applied Lucas's advice to The Lion King as well. I think a film like The Lion, and et cetera, et cetera. And he talks about the hero's journey in a positive, and he said that that's what he adhered to. Notice how The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars anything that's not a video game since Return of the Jedi. It's even better than Rogue One. And Rogue One's really good, you know? But again, Rogue One also follows the hero's journey. But that's what Star Wars is dependent upon, is the hero's journey. You know, there has to be a struggle. There has to be something that pushes you to the next level. Mary Sue characters in an environment like Star Wars are even more obvious than anywhere else. Because Star Wars, everything is based purely on what you are able to overcome. And whether or not you are able to overcome it, or if it overtakes you. The entire universe is based on that. You look at Luke overcame what was set in front of him, and as such, not only did he become the last Jedi Master, his father turned back to the light. And then his father, when put up against the pressures of the universe, he folded. And that's why his story is so tragic. You know? Serena says here, for some reason, my dad thinks this movie is the best thing ever. Guaranteed he's one of those don't think but consume product people who doesn't exercise critical thinking. He tried to use the themes and philosophy argument defenders of The Last Jedi to defend that movie. Ugh. But that is where I think we need to leave this particular review. Even though I didn't see it, you know, I've read the spoilers. It sounds like trash. You know, it really just does not sound good.
That's the thing. Like, it's just the fact that it's the final chapter is what makes it not great. The fact that it came on the heels of The Last Jedi is what made it not great. I mean, like, the first 2 acts of the movie, honestly, are fine. Like, there's a great fucking scene with Han Solo and Kylo Ren, which is what compels him to turn back to the light. Yeah, Han Solo is just like a fragment of his memory. It's basically him just having a conversation with a ghost in his head. But that is a really fucking wonderful scene. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. There could have been a whole hell of a lot more with this, but 2 things kept this movie from truly, truly being great. One of them was uncontrolled, and that was the death of Carrie Fisher. Yeah. Had she not passed, this movie probably would have had a lot more places to go. But because of her untimely death, there were serious limits. And the second was the Last Jedi. That was controllable. Fucking Kathleen Kennedy gave Rian Johnson a blank check with that fucking movie.
Yeah.
And she should not have fucking done that. And as a result, Star Wars is a fucking mess. Which is why, in my first impressions thing on Twitter, I said, fucking may as well just do it over again. If you are absolutely bound and determined to have a sequel trilogy, do it over again.
Yeah.
Start the fuck over.
Indeed. I say Mandalorian Wars. Do not have Revan played by fucking Keanu Reeves. Have Revan played by someone like Benedict Cumberbatch or Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill would be a really good Revan too.
Well, that's the thing. Would you want male or female Revan?
Male. Go canonical. But but you'd have to bring in Mitra Surik as well. She's canonically female.
True.
And she's a beast. So that would be awesome. I don't know who would play her, but because that's a very complicated character. But have it produced by the Mandalorian Wars produced by Jon Favreau because he knows the Mandalorians, and bring in directors who are going to have a great insight and be able and caliber to tell these stories and do it faithfully. I would like what's his name who directed the first he did Panther and the first Creed movie.
Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
I'd love to see Ryan Coogler direct like the Mandalorian Wars. That would be
great.
badass.
Oh, good God. The long shots we would get.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
Ryan
awesome.
Coogler or the directors who did Infinity War and the Captain America films. Like, that would be fucking great. Or even one guy who I've always wanted to see do Star Wars, Kenneth Branagh.
Ooh. Fucking good God. Imagine if Revenge of the Sith was directed by Kenneth Branagh. Because that was basically a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yes, I would have loved to have seen that,
God
man.
bless.
But yeah, like when it comes right down to it, and this is what I compare the sequel trilogy or the Disney trilogy, whatever you want to call it, is this is like going to a Metallica concert, and they have kind of a rough opening. Then they decide to play the entirety of Saint Anger in the middle of the set. After that, you could be getting a lap dance from Scarlett Johansson for the finale, and it would not improve. There's only so much you can do, Though, admittedly, a lap dance from Scarlett Johansson would be kind of awesome. So, see Purdy. Anyway, so that is our time for that.
Well,
We need
one
to move
last
on.
thing, Micah.
Real quick.
There's one last thing.
You have 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes.
I'm fairly certain that if you did not already hate the movie by the end of it, you would hate it because of one scene at the very end. Ewoks.
What, Ewoks just show up?
Motherfucking. They do like a celebration across the galaxy like they did in Return of the Jedi. Or the special edition of Return of the Jedi. And Wicket. And what I assume to be Wicket's son are there. Ewoks. Yub nub, motherfucker.
That sucks. Anyway, yeah, this movie's terrible. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on to somebody brought something up about seeing Scarlett Johansson naked. Under the Skin. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not a bad movie either.
No, it's actually legit creepy, but
yeah. Let
me just put it this way. That woman is 100% natural. She's very pretty. So, Valhalla Erickson donates $10. Thank you. Says, if you got the opportunity to write a Star Wars-inspired space opera, what would its setting and characters be? Well, Star Wars is already a space opera, but space opera fantasy. If you gave me Star Wars and you wanted me to write a completely original story with it, oh God, that's a tall order. I think that I would just want you to hire me to write the Mandalorian Wars. Honestly. I'd use the comic books as a template, but I would change some things. So, I'd change a lot of things. I would definitely like focus on Mandalore the Ultimate being a big deal. Like you would see characters from KOTOR in there. By the way, I would if I had to cast Keanu Reeves as somebody, he'd be Karth. Because first off, he looks like Karth Onasi. Second, Karth Onasi is a blaster specialist, so you can do some John Wick shit with him if you want to. You know, but not to mention, Karth was actually a really, really good companion in KOTOR. A lot of people didn't use him. Once you get the Jedi, he's pretty useful. He's probably the best blaster character that you get. Also because he can constantly keep getting up when he gets knocked down. So anyway, so hopefully that answers that. Yeah, that's the one story I think that I would want to write more than anything Star Wars oriented would be to do the Mandalorian Wars. Write the screenplay for that. And I would do it like this. I would basically do it where the first film is the setup where Revan is trying to, which he would go by a different name, but you would know who it is. But he and Malak are trying to who I would keep that his name was actually Alec beforehand. They're trying to go around and convince the Jedi Council to actually take action. And then of course the Mandalorian Wars on the other end. I would introduce Canderous Ordo as sort of a young self, you know. And then, of course, you have to have Mandalore the Ultimate. You have to have Cassis Fett as well. Cassis Fett was a fucking asshole, you know. And I would actually have the scene. One thing I would do from the comics is I would bring in the scene. I would bring on. You would see two things. The movie would open with the destruction of Serico. Then from there. Afterwards, the middle part would probably be when the Jedi first enter it. The third film, the way I would write it would be, the middle of it would be Malachor 5, the middle and end would be Malachor 5. And of course that would be the film where you introduce Beodur. And, you know, like a lot of characters would be in there. Mitra Surik is probably one character I would really enjoy writing. She would sort of be, of the three of them, Revan's the leader, Malak is the muscle, she's the one with the finesse. I would have her be a double-bladed lightsaber user, and have her fight almost like a dancer. And, yeah, that would be kind of like that. I would probably even bring in... What is the chick from... Well, no, she's probably too old now. I was thinking the chick from Crouching Tiger, but that's been years. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. That's what I would want to do more than anything. Hopefully that answers your question. On the Discord server, Holy Ninja Toast says, favorite light gun arcade game?
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead 2.
Fairly certain we've answered that one before.
Let's see here. Waste Coast wants to know from you, Hatman, because she liked your ideas about a Star Wars rewrite. Ooh. If you were given the opportunity, would you rewrite it? I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's true of both of us.
Some people have actually DM'd me asking if I would do a full write-up for it, and I'm seriously considering doing it.
Okay.
I've got some other stuff on my plate right now, like I got to finish editing 3 nights and whatnot. But when I get some time, I might actually do it because I got a lot of good feedback from that.
Chaos Sonic wants to know all this shit that happened with Rise of Skywalker. What do you think is next? I would think that Mandalorian Wars is probably going to be what's going to happen next.
Yeah, they're gonna do KOTOR next. The rumor mill now says that they're going to announce the next trilogy in January.
Yeah.
And I think the release is either going to be 2021 or 2022. Probably 2022, to be honest.
Them canonizing Revan is not an accident. They're going Old Republic.
I don't think it is.
They're going Old Republic. It's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to try and win back old school fans from that, and I don't think it's going to work.
No, I don't think so either. A lot of people are going to be very, very, very pensive about that. because people love those stories. He also asked him, how would you fix the Yuzhan Vong? I would never touch them. I think they're stupid.
Nope, I would never
You have
use
no
them.
idea. Like, I think the Yuzhan Vong are just a bad idea.
Yeah.
I would never. If you paid me to write them, I would have them all die off immediately because of a virus. Like, I hate them. Valhalla Erickson threw in another few bucks. Says, advice on writing an LGBT character. My advice on writing any character for anything is don't do it unless your heart is set on it. And even then, their sexuality should not be the complete focus.
Mm-hmm.
There were other questions in other parts of the Discord server because people kind of threw them all over the place.
Vidya. Talents
Talon
and Vidya.
Silverbane had one said, what do you think the future will hold for Star Wars and Lucasfilms? What do you think of the rumors about Disney snubbing and eventually banning Lucas coming to the screening? Also, how did Leia die? How did she die in the film?
She just gets up and just walks over and then just lies down and she's dead basically.
So old age, basically.
It's explained that like she did it so she could be with Kylo or some nonsense, but it's kind of ham-fisted the way they did it. It's just a way to say, yeah, Carrie Fisher's dead and there's nothing that we can do here.
Yeah. Talon Silverbane wants to know. Also, he has said, but anyway, the rumors about him snubbing it. I don't think Lucas even wanted to be there. So,
I don't think so either.
and as for the future, Old Republic. That's what's happening next. I have no doubt.
Yeah, that's got to be. There's no way they wouldn't.
Okay, that's it for that. Let's see here. Kevin Malone says, would any of your characters wield a lightsaber like this? What is this? Like a reverse grip? Like what?
Were they talking about a...
I don't know, but reverse grip swordplay is very hard to do because the person pulling it off, whether it being the choreography or whatever, you have to be fast. That was how Christian Bale was able to pull it off in Equilibrium. You know, because whoever was doing the stunt work was fucking fast. So, because reverse gripping a sword is so impractical. It really doesn't work. It's just a stylish thing, you know? Anyway, somebody's been trying really hard to use the @ and it's not working for him. I think it's Bob Feta. Yeah, he says, what do you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What I saw everything up until the Ghost Rider season. It was okay. I never really was that impressed with it.
What do you think it'll take for Disney to axe Kennedy? I think she's on her way out.
Yeah.
And that relates back to someone else's question about the rumor that JJ hates The Last Jedi and Bob Iger is basically taking control of Lucasfilm. Bob Iger taking control of Lucasfilm is not just a rumor. That's basically confirmed. He straight up said the buck stops with me.
Yeah,
so
he's very pissed off.
He's in control. Kathleen Kennedy's contract is going to expire, and then she's going to be out. She basically doesn't have any power anymore.
Yeah, it expires in 2020, certainly. And not to mention, at least from what I've heard,
or is it 2021?
2020, I think.
So
you got to think of it this way: she had 2 last shots after The Last Jedi. Because you got to keep in mind they had 3 more movies planned for Rian Johnson to direct, and they're all canceled. They had other films,
almost certainly.
They had other films planned that were, side stories like Rogue One and Solo planned, and they got canceled too. You know, and what ends up I think that what they probably looked at it is like, we got 2 things in the barrel. We got The Mandalorian and we've got The Rise of Skywalker. So we're gonna, if both of these succeed, we'll keep you. If not, then you're fucked. Only one of them did. So, and I mean, she's fucking lucky that Filoni is such a good producer and Jon Favreau is such a good director and story writer. Like, he's a real coup. A lot of people don't understand how good he is. I don't think John's ever done a bad movie.
Iron Man 2. And Lion King this year.
There's a button I have. Everyone shame the Hatman. Everyone shame the Hatman.
Shame. 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 Shame.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
All right.
Why are you shooting me? I'm right. Iron Man 2 was garbage, and The Lion King that came out this year was also garbage.
There are a lot of things wrong with you. You do understand that, right? Your opinion is
wrong. A lot of
wrong.
things may be wrong
Iron
with
Man
me,
2 is a
but
great
that's
movie.
not one of them.
Iron Man 2 is great.
Iron Man 2 sucked.
Iron Man 3 sucked. You might be getting the two confused or something.
Iron Man 3 was the worst of them all, but Iron Man 2 was not good.
Iron Man 2 was great.
Iron Man 2 was not good.
It was a lot of fun. That movie's great, man.
Let's move on before I get the button
the chat's
again.
with me, and that's all that matters. All right. Matchstick says, how would you write a bounty hunter movie and a KOTOR series based on KOTOR 1, 2, and SWOTOR? KOTOR 1, 2, and SWOTOR, my thing would be keep them whole. The story's fine. Just do an actual series with it. With SWOTOR, it would be weird because you've got... Oh, God. You have 8 stories to deal with. And a lot of characters that are within it, because every character, that class that you play as, has several companions that are integral to the overall plot, in one way or another. Well, actually, wait, no, that's not completely true. Like, 1 or 2 in the expansions are very, very important. So, you're looking at what would basically be the Game of Thrones of Star Wars, is what SWOTOR would be. Because each of those campaigns affects one another. So you can't really axe one of them, really. Well, actually, wait. God, the more I talk about it, the more I change my mind. You could kind of reduce the role of the Inquisitor and the Consular. The Bounty Hunter is integral. The Agent is integral. And would actually show a really interesting part of Imperial life. The Scoundrel, you could kind of give or take. He doesn't really go into it, but the Trooper is very important. That would be one thing I would really enjoy doing about it, though, is having a Trooper character that is a big badass. Because you don't really get to see Troopers be that awesome outside of the Clone Wars, you know? And these aren't clones of Mandalorians. These are just volunteers. So, not to mention the Trooper just has a good story. So, that would be one thing that I think would be really interesting to do, would basically be to balance all of these characters and do it. But one thing I will say is I would do, if I had to pick the characters that I would have interact with one another, the main players, the characters that would get the most attention would be the Jedi Knight, the Sith Warrior, the Imperial Agent, the Bounty Hunter, and the Trooper. I would have a female Trooper. If I was doing an animated series, I'd bring Jennifer Hale back to voice her. I would have a male Jedi Knight, though. Well, no, actually, I would have a female Jedi Knight too. The one thing in my headcanon that I do with the game is that I have the Jedi Knight and the Sith Warrior as brother and sister. And they're both Dathomiri Zabraks. Because the Dathomiri Zabraks are fucking interesting. But yeah, I would have the Trooper... I would also have the Trooper be related to the Smuggler and to the Bounty Hunter. So that way there's X factors when it comes to their loyalties and where they lie. Basically, the way that I would have it is that the sister is the youngest of the 3, and the 2 brothers left the military to make money, basically. So, That's how I would do it. All right. It is an hour. And I owe a few things. So, for those of you who did not get a question answered during the course of the podcast, please go ahead and put your question in there now and tag Brainbox so that he can go ahead and get it. All right. Should we start with the cringe?
Start with some cringe. I like cringe.
Okay. So somebody donated $25 for a very specific clip. So we're going to go with whatever this is.
I think I'm supposed to watch this too, aren't I?
I guess.
Didn't she pay for both of us to react to it?
No, Serena paid us to read something.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
So.
Ah, fuck it. I'll do it anyway. I'll react. You get a free reaction.
Okay.
All right. Send me the link to whatever.
Yep. DMing it to you now. iDestroyer donates $5 and he says something. Hold on a second. I meant to include an image link in my comment. Would your characters wield a lightsaber like this? Here it is. And it is basically a saber staff, but the end of it is a 3-prong. I like the concept of the saber staff, but I don't like the 3-prong kind of look at the end of it. So, no, I don't think I would use like a pole arm or anything like that. Okay. So, let me put this on full screen.
Okay. R9K, huh? That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
All right. Hitting the button in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What? Okay, hold on. I can't show the video at that point.
I'm gonna keep watching. There's no nudity or anything.
Her ass.
Okay, never mind. There's nudity now.
What the fuck is going on?
Is he spirit bombing?
Lend me your virginity. This is a virginity spirit bomb.
Oh my god. Virgin ball! Oh my god! Oh my god. This is funny. This is stupid, but it's hilarious. Oh my god. Legend of the Virgin King? Are you shitting me? That's actually a thing?
That.
There's no way. There's no way that is like
that has to be
actually
a parody. Has to be. That has to be a parody of, That has to be just an out and out parody of Dragon Ball. Has to be. What the hell is R9K anyway?
Robot 9000. It's a 4chan board.
About what? Incels?
The quirk of the board was that you can never make the exact same post twice. Everything has to be original content. So if your post ever was identical to someone else's, like text or otherwise, it would be deleted. And R9K eventually sort of became like a a board for virgins and other social outcasts. I remember when R9K was good.
I only know of the cancer that is killing B by reputation.
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know
B
what the
was-
joke is, everything is the cancer that's killing B.
B was never good. It was hilarious, but it was never good.
Well, given what B is, like, there's no surprise there. Okay.
Get some water.
Can I go get water? Should I?
Yes.
Does it even really matter?
Yes, go get water, because water is good for the vocal cords.
All right. I will be right back. Hatman, keep everyone entertained while Brainbox continues to gather the questions, and I'll get ready for it. It's brief. It's just the first verse of something, because it's the only thing I have memorized. But all right.
Okay.
And people just get to listen to my shitty singing. So I will be right back.
Yeah. Yeah. Drink water. That was the advice that I was given in my middle school chorus. Because yes, I did sing when I was in middle school. Can't do it very well anymore. And public speaking also. Drinking soda before you talk to people is actually probably the worst possible thing you can do, because the sugars are terrible for your fucking vocal cords. But moisturize them with just regular water, and you're fine. Also, if you talk at like a lower pitch, it's also supposed to be better somehow. I less strain, I suppose. I don't fucking know. What do I think of Terriermon? That is a Gen 3 Digimon, right? I wasn't really crazy about Gen 3.
All right. Well,
I call it Gen 3, my god.
here we
Third
go.
series, whatever.
Ready?
Whenever you are.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us with thy perfect light. There. And that actually...
I'm surprised you didn't go for anything else. Wow.
that's probably my favorite one. I used to know the entire song, oddly enough, but I don't remember it beyond the first verse.
I'm more of a joy to the world person, to be honest.
Yeah. It's the what really sucks about it is I sang that like I used to, because when I was younger, my voice was a lot better than it is now, and I actually was the soloist, I guess you could say, for a choir when I did that. Oh, I forgot that I brought up the lyrics. So this, like, you never hear the second verse. You know, it seems like you just repeat it. But the second verse is, born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. King forever. Oh, I fucked that up. King forever ceasing, never over us all to reign. And then the third one is just, frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising, all men raising, worship him, God most high. See, I shouldn't have drank so much frickin' soda.
And it's like I was telling chat, that's one of the worst things you can do for your vocal cords right before you're supposed to talk or sing or something.
Yeah. Admittedly, I was a little nervous. Now that I've done it, it's not half bad. But But no, I was singing in my own octave there, and I think that's probably why it sounded even halfway decent. I used to have a higher range. I used to be able to sing Dream Theater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy. I can still do some of it. I just don't. I can't hit those highs that I used to. My voice has gotten so deep as time has gone on. So, well, hopefully people enjoyed that, because I didn't.
Sorry, but also you got money.
There is that. But I figured I'd do something special for Christmas. You know, figured I would. Let me just say this as sort of a thing. I have wanted to do a few things in my life again that I have never really been able to do properly because of gatekeeping and things like that. You know, I wanted to get back into broadcasting. I wanted to write professionally. And I get to do both of those. Even though I'm not really too happy with how my main channel is going, this channel continues to grow bit by bit. And on top of that, the people who are here for us and for this particular bit of content. They're not here for anything else. And I think that we've been smarter about this channel than I was with my main one. And I really just, like, now I'm a podcaster and a comic book writer, and I'm doing pretty well at both, I think. You know, we have a steady audience. You know, and that's something that some people can't say for themselves. You know, we got a comic book fully funded, you know, and comfortably funded, now we can say. You know, and for those guys who don't know, it's looking really good. Like, we just got the splash page, the 2-page splash from Armand, the coloring just got finished on it. Holy fucking shit. Like, it looks really good. You saw it, didn't you, Hatman?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so it's beautiful.
It's good.
The comic is beautiful. It's going to be amazing.
And he had to, like, redo the colors on that one, too, because he wasn't satisfied at first, right?
Well, he had to redo them because he moved. Because he had all that life shit
Oh,
going on.
well, yeah, that's right. That's what happened.
But yeah, like, he did a fantastic job. And, like, this comic is getting, like, John Malin and Ethan Van Sciver are complimenting the art on this. That's pretty high fucking praise. You know, and now it's just the onus is on me as the writer to, you know, make sure that this is something that blows people's minds, you know. But that is my confidence, is that, you know, I have the ability to do a podcast every week and entertain people. I have the ability to entertain people through my writing, you know, and now I get that chance. This has been a phenomenal experience for me this year, even though this year has been hard, very hard. On the flip side, there has been a lot of great stuff that's happened too. And I couldn't do it without this audience. I couldn't do it. And I couldn't do it without you helping me out too, partner. So
That's right.
this is one of the coolest experiences that I think I've ever had, honestly. So, yeah. And now, like, we got more comics that are going to be on the way after Englewood, and Englewood Book 2 is going to be really good, and, like, just, it's the good stuff, man. I'm excited. Very excited.
It's happening. It's happening.
Indeed. All right, folks. I just wanted to tell you all that, guys. Next time you see us will be after Christmas, so Merry Christmas to every single one of you. And to the sticks in the mud who don't like people saying Merry Christmas, all I have to say to you is this. Merry fucking Christmas.
I see somebody recognize that tweet.
I had to. So get up off your heathen ass and fucking celebrate. All right, folks. We are going to go ahead and take off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button. I mean, I sang for you, for God's sake. But seriously, Merry Christmas to all of you. We do love you here. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin. Merry Christmas to all. Now get off my lawn.
We'll see you guys next time. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.